So I just celebrated my second anniversary at PMI just a few days ago. But it's already my third Global Summit. We usually do it later in the year, but I think we love it so much that we're impatient to do it earlier this year. So September it is. Thank you so much for being with us to gather, grow, guide the theme of this year's summit. It's awesome to see you, always more of you. I think we broke another record this year, over 4,000 attendees. Incredible. So I mentioned I joined PMI almost exactly 2 years ago, and since then I've had many conversations with many people about the future of PMI, about the future of our profession. They actually started even before I joined PMI, right? I was having discussions with our board to see how I could help, how I could be of service. And the topics we covered at the time were, of course, a lot about PMI itself, right? More internal. So how to be a little more global, a little less US-centric. Should we be more explicit about the role we play in Agile? How can we avoid the dispersion in what we're doing, because we're doing so many things? And then a few days after I started, I made the trip to Philadelphia, not too far from my home, right, an hour away. And I met with Jim Snyder, who unfortunately passed earlier this year. Jim was, of course, the most famous of the PMI founders and the first CEO of PMI, actually, my longtime predecessor. So I went to see him and I asked him for personal advice. I asked him what I should focus on. And Jim told me, look, try to focus on bringing people together. So Jim, I hope you're happy. And also make sure that PMI always stays on top of the art and science of project management. And then since then, in the last 2 years, I've traveled a lot across the globe, met many of you, volunteers, chapter leaders, and many of you professionals. And I met also with many of our partners, corporate partners, governments, NGOs, academic partners, training partners. And there the conversations were often more about the transformation of our profession. Where is it going? Where is it going with AI? A lot of anxiety, a lot of excitement at the same time. Also the transformations of the workplace, right? So with the rise of hybrid work, the implications on project teams, the transformations of the workforce as well, right? The rise of the gig economy, or how to navigate in a world that is so fast-paced, uncertain, VUCA, right? But there's also something much deeper that I perceived. It's not always explicitly expressed, right? But something very pervasive. And that's a feeling that project management and project professionals lack recognition. That they lack the recognition that they deserve for all the value that we bring to the world. So I want to take this extremely seriously. This is really something that I want to take seriously. When all is said and done, when I retire, and that's not an announcement, so don't get too excited, but when all is said and done, what will make me truly happy and fulfilled is to feel that what we will have done will have moved the needle, right? Helped change the perception and the recognition of the profession. So we've been working really hard with my team, with our board, with all of you, to address these questions and aspirations. And so we came up on one side with a plan to transform PMI. That's PMI Next, our strategy. But on the other side, we've also started to reframe project success and what project professionals should feel accountable for, so that we can increase our impact as professionals, and therefore the recognition we get. So first, let's talk about PMI Next for a second. We launched PMI Next in 2024. And so one thing that always happens to me when I'm on stage here at the Global Summit is that things don't go exactly as planned. So for instance, right now should come behind me, in front of you, the PMI Next on one page. which hopefully will come at one point. So if anyone hears me in this room or backstage, it would be great to see that slide coming on the screen. Thank you. Well, nevertheless, here we go. Thank you. By the way, I'm not going to go through all of that, right? So it's the full explanation of our strategy is publicly available. It's on our website. And you can't read anything anyway, it's too small. But if I summarize what PMI Next is about, it's really about focusing on what matters the most. And we've reformulated, re-expressed our purpose. Maximize project success to elevate our world. Absolutely. And focusing also on, very clearly on who matters the most, and that's you, project professionals. Now, PMI Next is also a lot about being very intentional about where we should focus our resources, our investments, to really leverage our unique strengths, right? That come from our legacy, our skill, our know-how. So 3 areas. The first one is making our certifications, our universally recognized certifications, even more the gold standard, not just in our profession, but across all professions. The second is expanding our learning offer and development opportunities beyond the time when people prepare for their PMP, right? So beyond mid-career, more before and more after. And then there is what we call community-based knowledge platforms and resources. And that is a lot about leveraging tech and AI to harness the collective intelligence of our community, of all of you, right? So we can all benefit from the knowledge and know-how, or at least some of it, that we've accumulated, and make it easy. Now, PMI Next is also a lot about prioritizing. How? So multiple initiatives that you see here on this page. Of course, I'm not going to go through all of them, but I want to give you a brief update, at least on some important topics that I know you care about. And also announce a few exciting news in exclusivity, so get ready to post on social media and amplify. Yeah, you got to go faster than me. It's not going to be easy. All right, so let's start with PMI by AI. We see AI as a unique opportunity, really, to change the perception of the profession. First of all, I want us to be the trailblazing profession, right? A trailblazing profession, so adopt AI in the way we work faster than the other professions, number one. And doing so, develop the expertise that will make us really good at managing AI transformation projects. And so if you take all the AI transformation projects at the same time and do it responsibly, I think we'll have a fantastic recognition if we do that. So PMI by AI, we launched it a year ago. It feels like 10 years ago, but it was only 12 months ago. We came up with 3 AI courses so far. Over 365 people have registered. That's amazing. And news. We got a 4th course coming by the end of the year. It will be about practical applications of generative AI in project management. Now, we also produced a lot of thought leadership, reports, webinars, keynotes, organized events, supported events managed by others, us, our chapters, like everyone, like the whole ecosystem, our flywheel, as we say. By the way, speaking of content, another piece of news. We are launching today the first AI practice guide for project managers. It is called AI Essentials for Project Professionals. It will evolve into a standard, right? We need to go through a period of open consultation, of course, to get to a standard, but that's in the works. Now, in January 2024, we launched PMI Infinity 1.0. An AI-based platform, a co-pilot, an assistant, to help you learn, of course, but also do things, do your jobs, right? So we currently have about 50,000 active users on PMI Infinity. Now, the added value of PMI Infinity compared to just ChatGPT. First, it's only vetted sources, right? And that's increasingly important because I don't know if you realize, but a lot of the content that is currently produced and put on the internet is actually produced by AI, right? So AI is feeding itself right now. Not so good. Research shows that it's really bad, makes it dumb pretty quickly. So this is not going to happen with PMI Infinity, only vetted sources. And the second thing is, you operate on PMI Infinity in a very, very safe environment. It runs on our own instances of OpenAI. Whatever you will do on PMI Infinity is not going to train any tool, algorithm, is not going to help any of your competition, so it's a very safe environment. Now, very important news. We are launching PMI Infinity 2.0 at the end of September. Okay. Thank you. Well, you haven't seen it, right? You're project professionals. You want to see it first. Okay, fair enough. So Infinity 2.0, I'm going to show you a little bit, right? Let me show you a few features real quick. So first, Infinity 2.0 will run on our own instance of ChatGPT 4.0 and not 3.5 anymore. So it means you will experience a much improved efficiency. You will now be able to upload and create documents, such as project charters or others with our new document generator. You will get project-specific recommendations, checklists, templates, which will help you in planning, reporting, delegating tasks, and do other tasks. Now, we've also included new guided experiences that are based on real-world scenarios and simulations that are led by experts. So basically, they will help you learn, practice, and then do actual work. And then finally, our vetted knowledge base has been expanded to over 15,000 expert-vetted pieces of content. And this is going to grow constantly. Right now, we have, of course, PMI content, but we just added in PMI Infinity 2.0 specialized content, like from the Green Project Management for sustainability, or from the Center for Creative Leadership for leadership content, or from Cognilytica for AI and machine learning. And by the way, as you only believe what you see, you can try PMI 2.0 here. We have a PMI by AI area in the exhibition hall. I really suggest you go there, and not just to the Hollywood lounge for certified people. It's going to be very crowded. This is such a great place. Anyway, so you can go there, try Infinity 2.0, the beta version. I hope it's going to work. And then also please submit ideas, right? We have put together an idea lab so you can help us refine. We can take your suggestions for further versions, and hopefully you help us also prioritize the backlog. Now, speaking of PMI Infinity 3.0, because it's going to be on the market before the next summit, so I've got to show you a little sneak peek of one specific feature that is already in development. So it's basically an AI-powered risk assessment and management tool. Right? So you'll be able to use it with your project teams. It will help you detect risks before they happen, and of course, help increase project success. Our own EPMO team is currently testing it, right? They have an alpha version of it right now. They say it's great, so hopefully it's true, and hopefully you love it. We're eating our own dog food, as we say. Now, I have one last important news regarding PMI by AI. Today, PMI is announcing the acquisition of Cognilytica. So Cognilytica is focused on best practices, research, training, and certification in the AI and machine learning. So please welcome Ron Schmelzer and Kathleen Watch. They were with me backstage. I think they're here given the noise that they're making. Right? So Kathleen and Ron are going to bring to PMI better access to experts in the AI and machine learning space, content, and thought leadership that we've already uploaded in Infinity 2.0, like I said, but also existing certifications. They are related to managing AI transformation projects, so very much aligned with the needs that our corporate partners have expressed. Now, speaking of acquisitions, I want to give you a short update on two that we completed in the last 12 months. So the first one is PMO Global Alliance. I announced it on that stage in Atlanta last year. PMO GA. So the goals we had, the strategic goals we had when we made this acquisition were, first of all, of course, to make sure we address the needs of a very important sub-community of project professionals, right? Very influential, very senior. But also, we thought we could help PMO GA scale globally so that it benefits our community more broadly. So at this point, we completed all the basic operational integration, right? Website. The exam was separated from the courses, so we made a proctored exam as per our gold standard certification requirements now. We integrated our volunteers and awards on the PMI systems. And between now and the end of the year, what the team is working on is, first of all, launching a PMO practice guide and thank you because some of you have contributed to this. And second, open PMOGA regional hubs, right? So we can increase local support, nurture connections on a local level everywhere in the world. And that actually starts with launching PMOGA in China. We're currently in talks with the Chinese government, and I hope we will have our first exams in March 2025. You can support me, thank you, and the team. They're working hard on that. And now, project managers without borders. So here, so we had a number of goals here, but one of the goals we had, having PMWB, as we call it, project managers without borders, joining the PMI family, was to provide development opportunities for project professionals in service of meaningful causes, right, in line with our purpose. And so we want to do that by helping NGOs be better at executing on their mission. They are usually pretty good at fundraising, but execution is always the problem. So our volunteers, our professionals, you will help NGOs we partner with, bringing your expertise in project management to them. Now, to maximize our impact, and that was super important in the plan we had, and we still have, it's very important that we leverage our global grassroots presence, through our chapters. We have over 300 chapters in over 200 countries. And we want to have them play a very active role in Project Managers Without Border. So where do we stand so far? We got over 1,200 people who have expressed their interest, volunteers. Most of them, a vast majority, are young professionals, which shows how it resonates to them. We have already secured 4 global NGO partnerships already, and we aim to have 8 by the end of the year. We're currently onboarding our chapters. We need to make sure the quality is there, that everybody is aligned on how we will do this. So the chapters can develop themselves tens and even hundreds of similar partnerships with local NGOs, and this way increase our collective impact on the ground. Very concrete. By the way, social impact is embedded in many things we do at PMI, right? So for instance, just this week in LA, we met with many of the key nonprofits here who are working on addressing homelessness in LA, right? We provided them with guidance on how to build resource capacity. And of course, we have our wonderful foundation, the PMI Educational Foundation. They have a great event on Friday, so I'll be there. Now, let me update you on a few other important PMI Next initiatives. So I love 1984. Turned out to be very different than what George Orwell was anticipating. In fact, it's a year when some incredible innovations made their way to the market. So we had the Apple Macintosh, the CD-ROM, Tetris. Do you remember Tetris? You're too young. And then, of course, the PMP. Yep, 40 years ago. So since Eric Jeanette, one of our founders, got bestowed his PMP, PMP number 1, we've grown to a global community of over 1.5 million active PMPs today. By the way, is there anyone in this room who got their PMP this year in 2024? Please stand up. Brantley. Oh, wow. Yes, big round of applause. So PMP has been immensely successful, right? We all know that. But the world is an increasingly crowded and frankly confusing universe, right? Hello? Increasingly confusing universe with e-learning courses, badges, micro-credentials, certificates of all kinds, right? So having professional certifications of increasingly higher standards, constantly elevating a gold standard that both employers and professionals can trust is an essential component of PMI Next. Now, among the other PMI certifications, other than PMP, that are being elevated to a gold standard, I'm very happy to announce the launch this November of the new PMI ACP, Agile Certified Practitioner. So it will have updated content that covers multiple Agile methodologies. It includes the former DA SSM for those of you who are very, very expert about discipline Agile and passionate about it, and I know we have some here in this room. It also touches to some aspects of product management. It's very aligned with the new direction we're taking for gold standard professional certifications. For the first time, we're launching at the same time as the certification a whole ecosystem of preparation and learning, including self-paced training, instructor-led training, practice tools, et cetera, et cetera. Now, on a different topic, one thing that my team and myself have been really focused on is making the life of our community easier when interacting with PMI. So I'm sure you've seen that on the big slide that we waited for a while. As part of PMI Next, we have one initiative called the Unified Digital Experience. Some of this will be reflected in our products, right? Infinity, our courses, the new design of our courses that I hope you will enjoy and love going forward. But others also relate to very simple day-to-day interactions. So first of all, we heard you about how difficult and sometimes a little cumbersome it is to find anything on our websites. So we invested in a complete overhaul of PMI.org. We launched the first stage of our new site, for those of you who noticed, a few days ago because the team was a little scared that it wouldn't work on day one. So we launched it a soft launch, like a little bit before. But the goal we have here, you can see on the screen, is to give you a smooth, best-in-class, easy, end-to-end, beautiful, soothing experience. I hope you love it. And of course, we're not fully done yet, right? So among the things that we will transform, or even create, because we don't have them necessarily, is leveraging mobile, right? So to improve the experience. So in early 2025, we will introduce a new native mobile app. The features will expand over time, right? But initially, you'll be able to easily access your PDUs, will streamline the renewal process of certifications. We're excited about that. Okay, so I'm done with PMI Next, and of course, we'll communicate regular updates on our progress all the time. But I would like us to now turn our attention to project success. So here's the bottom line. We would like to initiate a movement to reframe what our profession should bring to the world and feel accountable for, which implies broadening our perspective and accountability beyond project management success to simply project success. Because it will serve our PMI purpose, but also because it will go a long way towards getting or gaining the recognition that our profession, our discipline deserve. And of course, frankly, the career opportunities that go with it. And now I know that most project professionals, especially the brightest ones, the ones here in this room, I know that you know and you understand that project management is not just about the triple constraints, right? Scope, budget, schedule. But we have let the world measure our performance that way. Although we know that scopes change, that budgets can be underestimated for any reason, political reasons. I love this quote, the first budget is really just a down payment. It makes sense. It's actually quite true. We know that schedules can and sometimes should be changed as well, for instance, because of competitive activity. And we also know that it's actually not true that 99% of projects fail, or 95, or even 90. We know that it doesn't make sense that the definition of project success be just binary, yes or no. In many cases, it's somewhere in between. It depends, like project professionals love to say. But, maybe the triple constraints are comfortable. They enable us to focus on the technical side of the job, give us some sense of control, sometimes maybe allow us to deflect responsibility for failure. But if we want to think more strategically, as many of you say, and to really focus on what will drive project success beyond project management success, of course, we still need to get the PM basics right, absolutely. But we also need to truly prioritize the perception of value by stakeholders. And recognition will stem from that perception of value by the C-suite, by the public, by all of those we want more recognition from. And we should not delegate the definition of project success, by the way, to consultants, to software companies, or anyone else who has something to sell. We, all of us together, our profession, needs to own this. So at PMI, we decided to kick off the debate to better define what successful projects look like and what factors contribute to project success or failure. And hopefully from there, initiate the movement that I was referring to. So first, what have we done so far? Well, we built a volunteer insight team, as we say at PMI, with 17 renowned experts, thought leaders, representatives of the academia, practitioners, executives. We interviewed in depth 150 professionals and stakeholders. We surveyed close to 10,000 people from almost 140 countries, both from inside our community and also outside of our community. And by the way, thank you for those of you who took the time to contribute to this. The largest project ever, research project ever that PMI has done. So what did you tell us? First, from the research emerged a new definition of project success. Successful projects deliver value, worth the effort and expense. Successful projects deliver value, worth the effort and expense. And I want all of us to reflect on two very important things here. First of all, it does add perception to hard facts. It does. But again, perception matters a lot, especially when it comes to recognition. Second, it has deep implications on the role of project professionals. Because beyond the basics, the foundation of project management, that of course our job is to get right, we need to feel accountable for making this equation work. Now, we asked respondents how they would rate on a continuum, right, from 0 to 10. Not binary anymore, but a continuum. The last project or program that they worked on. And overall, the outcome across all projects, interviewing thousands of respondents, is that a little less than half, 48%, can be qualified as overall successful based on that definition. And 12% overall an outright failure, and 40% somewhere in between. Not a total failure, but definitely not good enough. Now, reducing the rate of failure is as important as increasing the rate of clear success. And so we summarize all of this in a net project success score, right? So the percentage that is very successful or successful minus the percentage that is an outright failure. Now, in all objectivity, if I look back myself in the last 10 years and think about all the projects that I've been involved in as a CEO, these proportions speak to me. They speak to me, and I hope they speak to you as well. Of course, the research shows much more, and our panelists in a minute will discuss this together. But I'd like to share a few data points that I found interesting myself. It's just a very short preview of the full research that we will publish in November. Now, we have a breakdown by industry, and it shows quite significant differences, right? Industrials, construction, healthcare, financial services, scoring above average. And on the other hand, government projects or consulting projects, trailing. So I'm sure it will raise very heated debates. And as a former consultant, I feel very upset with this. But of course, it's not just the fault of the consultant. Let's face it, Obviously, we'll share many more breakdowns, analysis in November when we release the full research, right? By source of financing, you'll see it's quite interesting, by type of projects, by regions, etc. But one important theme of research that we had was to identify levers that you can activate. So we studied correlations between project success and many attributes, characteristics of the projects. And maybe this will be a relief, but having a proper measurement system turns out to be the biggest multiplier of project success. And I'm sure the PMI board sitting here on the front row will be very happy about that because they tell me this all the time. And nobody likes to be measured, of course. Now, other important ones that you can see on the slide, caring for team morale, having adequate funding for completion, or a sound business case. Now, if we dig a little bit into measurement systems, what can you measure that will make a difference to increase project success? Well, you see here a list of themes that should be measured, and it's very interesting to see that measuring sustainability and social impact matters a lot, which makes sense as increasing the overall value or perception of overall value has a big impact on project success perception, right? So I would like to end these opening remarks by saying that we have many more accomplishments to celebrate, but in half an hour, I don't have the time to show more. But I want to thank everyone involved, right? Our employees, our volunteers, our board, our senior leadership team, all of us supporting us. So let's give ourselves a big round of applause. And also because this is just the beginning, we still have a lot on our plate. We want to bring our profession together across industries, across sub-communities, across nations, across cultures, by building grassroots capacity, by amplifying what great looks like, by helping companies, governments, NGOs do better project management. We want to focus not just on the differences, right, but also on what can be learned from one project to another, from one professional to another. We want to innovate, always. We want to constantly progress the science and art of project management through AI, through higher standards of certifications, of qualification, throughout the entire career journey. This is our commitment to the profession. This is how we, PMI, can light the way. But all of you, please help us. Please help us make the light brighter for the next generation. And please help us commit to drive project success beyond project management success, in service of others and in service of elevating our world. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.